Hey, it's Sammy and Natalie here, and welcome to the Anxiety Compass, where anxiety isn't the enemy, it's our tour guide. We'll swap stories, share tools, and have a laugh while we find our way back to true north. Come along. Hey everyone, we are back. How are you, Nat?
I'm good, Sammy. How are you?
I'm fabulous. Do you find,
That's good.
when you ask people how they are, do you think they tell the truth, or do you think it's just a generic statement that people come back with, I'm good?
Yeah, 100%. And
I
if
know.
I know they're not, like depending on the environment, the situation, like especially in my crystal shop or especially in my clinic,
Yeah.
when they say that, and I just look at them and I just repeat it again and just say, "How are you really?"
Yeah. And then they're like, ooh. Because I used to do that
Yeah,
in clinic. They'd start with, I go, how are you? And they go, I'm
yeah.
good. And by the
It's
end of the
just,
clinic, they were crying and blah. And I'm
yep.
like, wow, like, well, how good are you now? Well,
Yeah,
gonna be better, but it's interesting. So
yeah. It's just a
we
social.
become very robotic with our responses
We do.
to stop
And
some
and a lot of the time,
conversations
if you're
and
so disconnected
protect
from your
ourselves.
body, yeah, like you said, you don't even
Mm.
realize that you're not doing good until someone actually says, "How are you really?"
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
when people start connecting in and they realize, "Oh, I'm really not good, or I'm sad, or I'm exhausted, or
All the
because most
things.
people don't want to hear it
Mm.
either. It's
The
because
one
again,
that you
that's just
said.
social nicety. Hi, how are you?
Yeah.
You
The
see
one that
some
you
people,
just said.
if you be honest, you see their eyes start to glaze over, and you see like panic
Yeah,
in
they're
their
like,
eyes because they're
I
like,
don't
"Oh
want
God,
to
I actually don't
talk.
want to know how you are."
Like the checkout lady. How are you? Not great. I've had
Yeah,
a terrible
take your
day.
time.
Uh, no, but one of the common things that I'm hearing out in the public is I'm tired, I'm exhausted, haven't slept,
Mm.
didn't sleep last night. I had an
Yep.
hour's left of sleep. And so we thought we would do an episode and touch base on sleep. The 3 o'clock and 2 o'clock in the morning wake ups, or
Oh,
the people who can't fall asleep, and then the people who get up to pee and then they can't get back to sleep. We've heard it all. We have
yep.
heard all the sleep stories. You have no
Literally.
idea the amount of
Yeah.
people who cannot sleep anymore.
Most
It's an
people,
epidemic. It
yeah,
really is. Yeah.
yeah.
I often say to people who can sleep, I say, don't tell people that you can sleep. Like I'm
Mm.
fine with my sleep, except for just before I get my menstrual cycle, I get a little bit of insomnia. But unless
Mm.
I'm leveling up in my business, or something really dramatic has happened, like I've had to create a boundary and had a really awful conversation, I will sit and reflect on that, or maybe my child's going through something and I don't like it, and if I'm feeling uncomfortable, like most of the time I can sleep unless there's something full on happening. What about you, Nat?
Yeah.
Are you a good sleeper, or you have your
Yeah, I
moments?
am now. Yeah,
Mm.
absolutely. But the
Yeah.
same, if I've got something on my mind or there's extra stress going on, my sleep tends to be pretty bad. But I look at it
Yeah.
now that, okay, when I'm not sleeping, I guess because we understand what's going on, I then
Mm.
do a checklist through my body and my
That.
life. It's
Yeah,
just
and
like,
what's going
okay,
on?
here it
Yeah.
is. This is what's going on. I've eaten too
Mm.
much crap,
Oh,
or I've got
alcohol.
too much
I can't
stress,
sleep when
or
I
whatever
drink.
it is.
Yeah.
Or I was too
Mm.
overstimulated late at night.
There's so
You
many
know,
triggers as to what it could be. And I'm the
mm,
same, like if my eating patterns are out or my schedules are out. But there was a time where I actually had insomnia, and I'm sure you can relate to this, but I didn't sleep for months and months and months. I was just constantly, when I was in my adrenaline high and just before I had my liver failure, my whole body was unregulated, like to the point where I actually would get really anxious when the sun would start to set, because I knew everyone was going to go to bed, and I would literally be up all night upset that I my body, and I'd be getting so angry in bed because it just wouldn't sleep.
yeah.
And I'm wondering how many people listening can relate to this,
I felt
because
so alone over nighttime. I felt
oh, it's
like I was the only
awful.
person awake in the entire world.
Mm.
It was awful.
Yeah.
'Cause, yeah, I didn't sleep for 10 years.
Oh,
My case is written up in medical journals.
oh gosh.
I,
And
it
it's
was
just,
that bad.
I mean, My mum once said to me, because when my boys were really little, I didn't get much sleep then either, which was kind of sort of compacted at the same time with what was going on in my body. She said to me, you know what? Just lay there. Just lay there. Like you would say, your body will eventually fall asleep if you tell yourself it's okay if you don't get sleep because you were stuck in this constant battle of if I don't sleep, it's the end of the world. And she's like, it's not the end of the world. You'll be okay. You had to
Yeah. Look,
reframe that in your head. Does it,
yeah.
you know
Look,
what I
that
mean?
that that is lovely advice, but I
Mm.
was told by professionals, and I realized it was absolutely true. And of course, if you've got the odd night where you're not sleeping, yes, absolutely, lie in bed, do some deep breathing to calm your nervous system down. But
Yep.
if you are
Or in
have a
constant
chronic
insomnia.
issue,
Yes.
the worst thing you can do is stay in bed because your brain then associates lying in bed with being awake and anxious.
I've
It
read
has
that
that
in that
correlation. So
Dr.
if I,
Matthew book.
yeah, so if I hadn't fallen asleep within 20 to 30 minutes,
You would get
I
up.
would get up. And I still do that now. It was very rare now, but I would get up and, obviously keep low lights, light a candle or something, listen to some classical music or
Mm.
read a book, nothing stimulating. But yeah, it's just, yeah, don't stay in bed if
Really
you've got this chronic sleep
chronic.
issue because your brain will associate being in bed with not sleeping. So it'd
I
be
like that
counterproductive.
side of it. Yeah,
Yeah.
mine was more if it was just on the odd occasion and I'd be
Yeah.
panicking because I'd have to get up early for a flight. And she's like,
Yes. Yeah. Oh,
you
yeah.
know what? You'll be
Ugh.
fine. If you don't
Yes.
sleep, it's not the end of the world. You can sleep when you get there tomorrow.
Yeah, which is
That's more,
true.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But there's science behind it, and a lot of it comes down. So I found for me, low iron was definitely a massive
Mm,
trigger.
me too.
Cortisol dysregulation. So when I did the salivary tests, my cortisol was peaking at 2 a.m. instead of starting to rise at
Mm.
2 a.m. It would just go bing straight up rather than a gentle rise. And so people find they wake at 2 a.m., that's a cortisol dysregulation going on there.
Yeah.
And your blood sugar levels if you haven't balanced them out. So sometimes I have some clients who would have a huge meal and dessert and all the things and chocolate and all sorts before they went to bed. So they'd eat too much and pig out, and then they get these blood sugar drops after they'd had a peak. It would
Yeah.
drop in the middle of the night and release adrenaline into their body. So
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's
there's
that
so much
classic,
science
that
behind
plus
it.
yeah, there really is.
Yeah.
And, blood sugar plus the cortisol. I mean, that's that classic case of, you're crashing and burning at 3 p.m., but
Yes.
then by 8 p.m., you're wide awake, ready to go and,
Yep.
run
Yeah.
a marathon sort of thing.
Yeah, pretty much because
It's
your
hard.
stored sugars will come out because your blood sugars cannot be that low because you die. So it starts to inject it back into your bloodstream.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. And as I was saying at the beginning of the episode, there's that hormone dysregulation as well. So often I find perimenopause, we've spoken about this before with progesterone being the beautiful calming hormone that releases into your body. And it also comes at the same point of cortisol. So if you're in flight or fight, it doesn't believe that it's safe enough to have a baby. So it's not going to release progesterone into your body. It's going to release cortisol. And so um, often women who go through perimenopause and menopause really struggle with sleep because their body's switching off their ovaries and moving to your adrenal glands to provide all these things. But your adrenal glands are too busy providing cortisol. So,
Exactly. And they're
yeah.
already dysregulated and burnt out, that
Yeah.
insufficiency. That's
Yes.
why so many women, when they get hit perimenopause and then into
Hmm.
menopause, that's why they crash and burn because their adrenals already weren't working
Yeah.
properly because they're exhausted. And so when
Mm.
our ovaries switch off and our adrenals pretty much just take over, they can't. They're
Yeah.
exhausted.
It's not great. And the thyroid issues as well.
And
Like
thyroid, yeah.
we got thyroid disease in our family.
Mm,
My grandma's had half her thyroid taken out. My mum had Graves' disease, and I'm constantly having to monitor my thyroid because I go hyper. So not hypo, I go hyper, which means I'm
mm.
producing too much of everything. My body's working too quickly, and so that can impact on my sleep. So, oh my gosh, it's so much fun, isn't it?
It
It's
is.
just,
And then, of
it's,
course, just your
yeah.
nutrients, when we go break
Mm,
down into those micronutrients, when you're stressed, chronic stress, choose through, we've talked about this before, choose through, your B vitamins, your magnesium, your zinc, all the things that's needing to try and keep you going.
yeah.
So, I found, because for me, one of the biggest things I found was taking, it was actually B12, which was
Yep.
what helped
Yeah.
me to sleep.
Yes.
Wasn't
I had the
magnesium or
twitching
anything
eyes
else.
from the
Yeah,
low
that's
B12.
magnesium
That was my
or
trigger as
B12.
well.
Yeah.
Because we've got the similar genetic makeup in that MTHFR and
Yeah.
all the things
All those things.
prone to having low B12. So definitely getting those
Yeah.
things checked is really important. We've
Yeah.
talked about
It's important.
hypervigilance before, where your body sets the tone to be constantly on alert, scanning for dangers. And the great thing about our bodies is just before we go to bed, as soon as our head hits the pillow, for many of us, our brain goes into overdrive to scan for dangers, whether
Danger.
that's financial issues or my job, I'm gonna lose my job, or
Relationship
that
issues.
conversation I had with a friend today. She never wrote back.
Yes.
I think I've hurt her feelings, and oh my God. And you can't switch that monologue off. It just
No.
that's something that I hear a lot in my
Yeah.
clinic.
And your body
Um,
doesn't recognize that it's just you're stressed about work tomorrow or that conversation that we
yeah,
had.
yeah,
It literally thinks, "Oh, okay, we're in stress mode. There's danger, so we're just going to switch, that sympathetic
everything off.
nervous system on,
Yep.
and we're just going to be on high alert."
Yep, scanning through it all because you got to
Yes.
imagine this though, like, and this is what I often would say to clients is you are busy all day. You're busy, 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 constantly doing, constantly, distracted from your thoughts and your feelings. And as soon as you go to the bedroom and you turn off all the distractions, then everything feeds in. The
Yeah.
emotions,
That noise.
talk, the noise. Do you we won't talk about it just yet, but I do brain dump before I go to bed to clear my head. So I kind of like fix all the problems before I actually go to bed in my, on a piece of paper. So that's
Yep.
definitely something that has helped. But
Yeah.
hypervigilance is definitely, and the overstimulated mind is definitely something that a lot of people listening can probably relate to because I still
Yeah.
have moments like that. And I find they're
Yeah.
more heightened when my
Oh, of
iron's
course.
low and when it's that time of the month. And so it's sort of like the end result of all the other things that are out of whack, like low
Mm,
magnesium. It sets off the compass to go, oh, everything's wrong, everything's
exactly, it
breaking
does.
down.
And I
Um,
find, obviously,
yeah.
I'm fully in menopause. I'm 56, and so obviously I don't have cycles, but as women, we've talked about this before as well. We're also tuned in with the moon cycles. So, of course,
Yeah.
when we've got the full moon, and that waxing, so moving towards the full moon and then that height of full moon, I can also find that my anxiety can increase, my sleep is not as great. So I've always used the brain dump, and I always tell my women in my clinic as well, write
Yep.
out everything, no matter how
All the
trivial, just get
things.
it all out.
Hmm.
And I also, if especially if they're still in that chronic stage when they first come to see me, I say to them, leave a pad and pen beside your bed, so that if you do wake up during the night, do a brain
Mm.
dump then. You don't have to get out of bed, just do a brain dump. And so many of them find that that is just so helpful. They
Yep.
just get it out, and then they're able to go back to sleep because they've quietened the noise.
It's gone. It's out of
It's
your head.
gone.
You were
Yes.
talking about nutritional contributors. So, low iron, low B vitamins, like you were saying, B12 helped with you. Low protein intake throughout the day. So you've got
Yeah.
that terrible glucose spikes going on. Under eating can be another one too. I find like if you go to bed starving, hungry, that's really going to impact on how you sleep. So I have a little bit of
It is.
carbs before bed.
Yeah, I
Um,
always recommend that because it's a fine
yeah.
line. Like, you don't want to overeat or eat too late because that will keep
Mm.
you awake as
I
well,
don't
or
eat
have a
after
disturbed
8.
sleep.
I'm a
No.
gremlin if I eat after 8. So
Yeah, have your main meal, or you have your dinner, before
uh,
7.
if you can.
if
Yeah.
you can. And
Yeah.
then, yeah, maybe have a little, even just a glass of milk or something if you can
Mm.
drink milk
Oh
or,
yeah, I've heard warm milk helps with sleep. Warm milk.
yeah. I
Love
mean,
a
having a
warm milk.
warm hot chocolate
Oh, I do like that, but the sugars would not love
or
me.
having a good quality dark
Yeah.
chocolate so that you're getting
Yeah.
that magnesium if you don't want to be, taking
Mm.
supplements. Another really good thing is sour cherry juice is really, really good
Ah, yeah.
for sleep.
Yep.
And so
I
is
used to have
kiwi fruit. Two kiwi fruit
oh
for
yeah.
dessert.
Yep.
Not only does it help with bowels, but it also studies show that it actually has just two kiwi fruit has enough components in it to help produce our melatonin. So it actually
Melatonin.
helps
Yep.
with sleep.
Yeah, I used to have all them. I also used to have a boiled egg before bed because I would
Mm.
often, when I was training, particularly, I'd be so
Yeah.
hungry because I'd have my
Mm.
meal at like 5 and I wouldn't go to bed till 9 and I'd be like, oh my God, I'm so hungry. So I'd have a little bit of protein before I would go to bed
Yeah.
as well. I find alcohol disrupts
Oh,
my deep sleep.
yeah.
So a lot
Big
of people
disruptor.
yeah, a lot of people use alcohol to help them sleep.
Yeah.
And well, it can put you to sleep. It will not put you in a proper state of sleep, but it
No,
can
you'll
put
have a
you in a more,
disrupted sleep.
yeah,
Yeah.
and you
So
can end
it,
up
yeah,
feeling
you'll
more
you'll fall
anxious.
asleep quickly, but you won't
Yeah,
have quality sleep because you'll be waking up during the night. Even if you're not consciously waking up, your brain is waking up. You're not going into that deep REM
do that.
style type of
Yeah.
sleep that where the resting and the repairing happens.
Yeah. So I find a lot of people that are struggling with sleep, it can be so many factors, like a psychological thing. So it could just be a lot of stress you're going through, maybe going through a divorce, or maybe it could be a psychological thing. And short term, maybe it's just something you got to get through, and that's okay. You can do things to help support with your sleep, but it could be a physiological thing. So again, the nutritional deficiencies, maybe your thyroid's playing up. Perhaps you aren't eating correctly. Maybe you need to look at that. Definitely get your iron levels checked, ladies. That's a huge one, especially if you have very heavy menstrual cycles. You're just losing a lot of iron there. So that's definitely something that you could look into as well. We did touch on some of the things that we do personally, like we were talking about brain dump. I actually take just before I track my cycle, but probably about a week before I get my menstrual cycle, my menstruation starts, I will take the magnesium glycinate. I take
Mm.
those particular ones, not all the time, but as it gets closer to that time of the month, because my
Yeah.
blood
The
sugars are all out of
glycine
whack.
is, yeah,
The
absolutely.
glycinate, yeah, the
It's
glycine.
the glycine in that particular. So it's not magnesium itself. There's new research coming out actually on magnesium, and it's the body doesn't necessarily recognize the different forms of magnesium because we've always attached, magnesium, you know,
Yep,
this is good for
citrate and
this or
this and that.
this.
Yep, which we've done
Yeah,
a podcast on, I think.
absolutely.
Hmm.
But it's more the what it's attached to. So it's not the magnesium glycinate, it's the glycine that it's
That
attached to it.
attaches. I
So
used
that
to
is what,
take straight glycine, the
yeah,
powder. I
I
used to take
yeah,
that.
I,
Yeah.
I take a form now of magnesium. It's more for heart health.
Ah, there you go.
But it's high in taurine and glycine, and I found that I've slept so much better because it's got a lot of glycine in it, as opposed
Mm,
to just
just a
taking
little
magnesium
bit.
glycinate or
Yep.
taking, those the sleep type of supplements
Yep.
on their own. I
Yeah. So you
just,
can get the
yeah,
straight. Yeah. Interesting.
mm,
I like that.
yeah.
But
I
that's
love
definitely
science
you
because
can
new
look
things
at.
are always coming
Oh,
out.
absolutely.
The only one difference just on magnesium, the magnesium 3 and 8, which is that does cross the brain
Mm,
barrier, which
yes.
helps. So if you've got neuroinflammation, the 3 and 8 is really, really great to help calm that neuroinflammation, which can also keep you
Yeah.
awake, disrupt your sleep.
Yeah, there's so many different things we could touch on here.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Um, I have a night routine. I know we were talking about routines the other day. It doesn't start at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, but I do have a night routine, and my youngest son's actually gotten involved in that. That when
Oh, lovely.
about 5:30, after he does his homework and everything, I say, "Can you set the house up for night?" And he'll go and turn all the lights off, shut all the blinds, and put all the lamps on because we have dim lights at night. We
Yep.
don't have the big bright lights. And as soon as we do that, it's like our body and our nervous system's preparing for sleep, and it's starting to, lower the cortisol and start to raise the melatonin in your body. And I used to put lavender in the house. I haven't been doing that for a while, but that was one of the things I used to do after I have a nice warm shower, put my jammies on. Like there's just set things that I do to tell my nervous system and my body that we are about to go to sleep. Do you
Yeah,
do
look, it's
anything
really
each
yes. I'm the same. I have a beautiful spray that I spray on my pillow. I
night?
diffuse usually lavender, or I'll just put some lavender on. I'm the same. I either have just one lamp on, which is very low light, or candles. Nothing loud, so I don't have TV on or be watching anything on a screen. I'll sit and read,
I love to
or
read. The
listen to
screen
music.
things is important.
Yeah, it
I
really
find
is.
you got to get that out of your room as
Yeah.
best as you can. I don't
Yeah.
take screens into my room. I don't even have a TV in my room.
No, I actually don't have a TV in my house.
I don't scroll in bed. I've never, and I know that sounds weird for some people, but I've never scrolled in bed. I just refuse to bring my phone to bed.
Yeah,
Um, I
I
don't want
do
to do that.
sometimes.
I don't want to do that. And some people wake
It's a
up in the
bad
morning
habit.
3 and scroll on their phones as well.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I notice if I catch myself that I'm scrolling, it's again, that's one of those check-ins. I'll catch myself and go,
yep.
okay, what's going on? It's
Yeah.
usually I'm
I have,
stressed about
yeah.
something and I'm using it as a distraction to try
Yeah.
and.
Yep.
But yeah, I do have do have a routine. I think it's really important because our brains love routine. It
Mm.
loves that consistency. So whatever works for you and your family, make sure it's consistent and you do it every night because it may not work straight away, but the more you do it, you're
Well,
literally telling your brain and your nervous system that it's time for
this is what's
sleep.
happening. This is what's
Yeah.
happening. I do a little bit of stretching in front of the TV. We'll watch a show and I'll do a bit of stretching. One thing that
Yeah,
I did do, like
breathing.
when I was not training, when I was studying and obsessed with learning knowledge because I wanted to fix myself, I would always read nonfiction before bed, and I would read like in depth about the brain. One of the books I was reading before bed was, I've forgotten his name. He's a neuro scientist. He does all the sleep. Matthew, what's his name? He's a doctor. It's called Why We Sleep or something. Oh my
Okay.
gosh. But anyway, I would be reading that before bed, and then I would have the worst anxiety because it would all be about what's happening to your body when you don't get sleep and, going into the depths of this. And I'd be lying there awake,
Yeah.
overthinking things. So I switched to fiction. And now
Yeah.
I actually just do puzzles before bed. I don't even read in bed anymore. I found it overstimulating. I would get
Mm,
too involved in my book, but now
right. Yeah.
I do puzzles in bed, like arrow words, and I love it.
Yeah. And
Nothing too
Sudoku. I love doing
overthinking.
Sudoku.
Yeah, Nige
Uh,
does a bit of that. Um,
But yeah, no,
yeah,
I love fiction. Yeah, fiction is the only thing I read of an evening.
of that. And there was also, and this is something that would probably be right up your alley, but listening to like a hypnotherapy track or something like, I know that Calm app and Headspace, they have nighttime ones that help you
Yeah.
to sleep. So you
I
can just
often
put that
have
on.
music playing, so like some sort of solfeggio music playing in the background, or some people it works better playing white noise, and you don't even have to have an app. Go onto Spotify or YouTube. There are so many, and a lot of them like go for 8 hours plus. So
Wow.
it's quietly in the background, calming your nervous system at certain frequencies to promote sleep, and I find that's really helpful
When I
as well.
first met my husband, he would listen to music to put him to sleep, but it was like Slipknot and
Yes.
Megadeth, and I said to him, if you want me to sleep
Oh
over, like I just can't. It was
no.
weird. And so he ended up changing it to like Joe Satriani. So it was still like listening to guitar music, but it was a
But
lot more mellower. I'm like, I just can't. It's too much. Like, what the heck?
oh
Yeah,
my gosh.
my husband's weird. But
Another
yeah,
really good thing, like total woo. because I'm the woo lady,
Yes, you are the
is
woo lady.
especially if you're having nightmares, because that was a big part of my complex PTSD. One really good thing is use a crystal, so Dalmatian jasper. It is really, really great to help with nightmares. Now, we
Dalmatian
even used it on my nephew when he was about 3,
stuff.
and he went through a period where he was having really bad nightmares.
Night
So I
terrors.
gave my sister some Dalmatian jasper just to pop under his pillow. And especially at that age, there was absolutely zero,
Oh, wow.
placebo effect. You can't, affect, because we didn't even tell him. We didn't want him to know. And the nightmares stopped straight away. People come into my crystal shop with having
Love
nightmares all the
it.
time. I give
I've
them,
just
so Dalmatian jasper, really,
I've
really
just
lovely.
Googled it. I'm looking at it and it says that it's primarily mined in Chihuahua, Mexico.
Yeah.
I didn't know there was a place called Chihuahua
Sure.
in
Well,
Mexico. I just thought it
yes,
was the
there
name of
is.
a dog, but it's an actual place in
Well,
Mexico.
that's where the dog came from,
Mm.
I'm
Well,
pretty
this is
sure.
what I'm learning
Yeah,
today.
yeah.
Clearly
The
I'm not
Chihuahua is
very
a Mexican. Haven't you
geography.
ever seen like cartoons of Chihuahuas and they've got the little Mexican hat
Yeah, I
on?
knew that they were a Mexican dog. I just didn't realize that
It came
that
from
was a
Chihuahua.
place. Oh, I'm learning something new every day.
You
People
do.
listening are probably
Yes.
thinking, wow, Sam, that's really slow of you. But that's fine. I'm sure that you've discovered things that everyone else knew. My eyes are open to Chihuahua. I want to go there. Is it full of Chihuahuas? Maybe not. I don't want to go if it's full of Chihuahuas wearing little Mexican hats. That's really
Yes.
cool. Anyway, off topic there. So sometimes it's not about fixing the night. Sometimes it's about fixing the day as
Mm.
well. So looking at like as we were saying, what you're eating throughout the day and how you're moving, which we spoke about last time. Conversations, building boundaries. Like go back and have a listen to the other episodes on how you can sort of balance out your life and draw that needle back up to um, what's it called? Your true
North.
north. Yeah. So it all sort of I'm sorry, I'm still thinking about the chihuahuas. My dog hates chihuahuas. He got
Oh.
mauled and attacked when he was a puppy.
Oh,
Two
yeah, they can be
chihuahuas.
little vicious things.
Oh, they are. And so my auntie's chihuahuas, I love them. I had a chihuahua. My
Yes,
dog was
they're
a
very
chihuahua
cute.
cross. But they can have
They
quite
can
a
be
temperament.
vicious.
I think I read somewhere about people being, killed by dogs and the most vicious dogs in the world. And, people automatically think of like pit bulls and stuff like that. And I've met some
Dobermans and
people.
yeah.
Yeah, and I've met it depends on the dog, really. But
Exactly.
Chihuahuas were right
Exactly.
at the top. I'm like, oh my God, they're like pack
Yes.
animals and
Yeah,
attack.
they
So I'm picturing that if we went to Mexico Chihuahua, that there would be like packs of Chihuahuas chasing you around. Yeah, no, maybe not. Maybe not. Anyway, sorry for those listening that have chihuahuas. I love all animals.
I know, me
Midas not so
too.
much. So, what not to do? As you were saying, we were talking about things not to do, and you were saying don't lay in bed and think about the fact that you can't sleep and scream at yourself to sleep,
Mm.
because that is not going to work. Don't get up and watch a show and read the news and maybe
Ugh.
scan a previous lover from 20 years ago and
Oh gosh,
look
don't. Yeah,
at
please don't do that. Don't go onto
Don't Google
Facebook
your
or yeah,
symptoms.
don't. Oh
Go,
yeah.
yeah, I'm
No,
dying.
don't
I've got a
use
brain
Dr. Google,
issue. Yeah, there
please.
it jumps to the worst case scenario. Don't
Yeah.
read a book about what happens to you when you're not sleeping, because that's a big no-no while you're in bed.
No.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't turn all the bright lights on. That's why I'm not a fan of hospitals. They have such bright lights, and then you tell you to go to sleep, and you're like, nah.
Yeah. That's why no one
Um,
can sleep in hospital.
yeah.
Lights and noise and
Yeah.
interruptions and
One of the things is a big no-no is using alcohol to fall asleep because it's actually going to have the negative effect on you. They used to do
yeah.
that back in not biblical, well maybe biblical days, but back with kings and queens and that the queens and kings would have a nip of brandy. It would be a nightcap that they would have before they go to bed. I found that
Yeah.
interesting
Yeah.
that they would use it to help them sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and one of the biggest no-nos is judging yourself, like getting angry and judging yourself in bed, because your body's failing you, and then you start to list all the things wrong with you and
Yeah. And
why
you're getting
life
stressed about
sucks.
how tired you're going to be the
Yep.
next day and
Yeah. Yeah.
you go into that spiral.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. And there's always a reason. So getting up and brain dumping, and you can even brain dump the reasons you may think that you're not sleeping. So didn't eat
Yeah,
properly today. Iron, must get that checked, book in with the doctor. Check my thyroid because I've been doing this, or change my form of exercise. So when you do go to bed, you know you have a plan of attack for the next day, right? You're not sitting there
yeah,
thinking about what you got to do, which is always
exactly.
helpful. Um,
Yeah.
Yes. Wow. There's just a lot that we can go down. I think we need to do another episode. This sort of touched base on things, but I think we need to do another episode later with specific topics. So we could even go deeper into alcohol and sleep and
Mm,
anxiety. We could definitely go into chronic insomnia and anxiety, like which is what you experienced. Um,
mm.
gosh, do you have anything else to add to this episode, Nat?
No, just know that, you know, as we were saying, don't judge yourself. Know, and as I was saying, no, listen to your body. Know that your body is trying to process something.
Hmm.
Something is going on. So whether it's physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual, something isn't aligned. Something isn't right. So just, yeah, as we said, be gentle on yourself, and yeah, go and get checked. Go and get all your bloods done. Come and see, a
You.
nutritionist, look, me, yeah, but a naturopath or a nutritionist, someone who can
Read it.
um, interpret your test results at a deeper level using optimal ranges as opposed to what doctors do, which is just using reference ranges. You often miss a lot of things when you're
Mm.
just looking at reference ranges.
Yeah,
So, and be proactive, but mainly be gentle on yourself while you're
gentle.
going through this. Something's going on, so be kind to yourself.
You will come out the other end. I mean,
You
we've both
will.
been there. I mean, Nat
Yep.
spent 10 years not sleeping and she's sleeping
Yep.
now. It's fine.
Exactly.
You'll come good again.
You
Um,
will.
yeah. So, a quick reflective question. If you struggle with sleep, what does safety look like at night for you? Like, how can you tell your body it's safe so that you can sleep? Does it mean dumping, brain dumping, or journaling, or working out a path for tomorrow to make sure that you can sleep? It could be anything. It could be ringing someone and having a really uncomfortable conversation so that your body will finally sleep and stop thinking about that thing that's going on in your head.
Mm.
There's a lot of things. I was going to say, what time do you wake up consistently? But we can't analyze that yet because I think we'll do that on a later episode as to what time of the day you're waking up, time of the night. Well, love you, leave ya, and we'll
Yes.
see you in the next episode.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us on the Anxiety Compass. If you loved this episode, share it with a friend who needs a little laugh and a lot of calm. We'll see you in the next one. Keep following your true north. Disclaimer time. Sammy and Natalie may be clinical nutritionists, but we're not your personal doctors. What you hear is for learning and laughing, not diagnosing or prescribing. If things feel bigger than you, call your doctor or local support line or reach out to a qualified health professional. They've got your back too.